Oh, a text from my friend. Yo, bro, what's going on? "Hmm, Nothing much, dude. Just about to start this project due tonight. Nah, man, me and the boys are heading to Jimmy's house to play on his new PS5. You should come. Hmm. Text from my professor. Oh no, the project's due tonight. Oh, nah, bro. I wish I could come, but I really gotta do this project. I submitted the last one last minute. It's fine, dude. We are going to play like one game and then you can leave. Sorry, bro. I really need to get this done. My grade is not so good in the class, and this project will boost my grade. You sure? Jimmy just got the new FIFA 21. Another text. Oh, yeah, I can't go. Yeah, man, I'm sure I'll catch up with you tomorrow. Hey, how's it going? This video will cover the understanding of the neuron's ability to integrate incoming signals and decide whether or not to fire an action potential. Specifically, I will talk about the little regions within the neuron that is crucial to the decision of whether or not an action potential should take place. By now, you have learned the structure of neurons and its responsibilities to the central nervous system and to the peripheral nervous system. So let's dive in. Why is an axon hillock so important? Our neurons receive two types of signals through dendrites from adjacent neurons: excitatory and inhibitory postsynaptic potential, or EPSP and IPSP, respectively. As you can imagine, the EPSP is responsible for excitatory signals, signals that tell the receiving neuron to fire an action potential, whereas the IPSP is the inhibitory signal that wants the receiving neuron to not fire an action potential. All of these signals are integrated in the region called the axon hillock. One particular concept you must understand is that more than one signal of either EPSP or IPSP is required for the neuron to carry out an action potential or not. Consider this for a moment. You drop a small pebble into a still body of water, and you watch the ripples extend further and further until they dissipate. But if you continuously add more pebbles, you will notice that the waves will not dissipate until you stop adding more pebbles. This is exactly how the EPSP and IPSP work. Now, how do we actually know when enough signal is enough signal for the neuron to fire or not?
2 hours later.
The axon hillock is the integration site for all signals coming in through the dendrites. It consists of approximately 250,000 sodium channels, which you may know from previous lessons are opened when the cell becomes more excited or positive. So an influx of EPSPs to this region will cause the axon hillock segment to open sodium channels and possibly depolarize for an action potential, approximately around negative 55 millivolts. Or IPSPs will cause them to stay closed and hyperpolarize the cell, which will prevent an action potential, which is around negative 80 millivolts. Another thing to consider is the distance EPSPs or IPSPs must travel to the axon hillock. This also affects the cell's decision to fire based on the strength of the signal. Take this scenario into consideration. Your friend is 2 feet away from you and decides to fling a rubber band at you. I would imagine that would be pretty painful. But if your friend was 10 feet away from you and fling the same rubber band at the same speed and the same strength as he did when he was 2 feet away from you, then you would feel much less pain than you did from 2 feet away. Consider yourself the axon hillock in this scenario. If you are hit from 2 feet away, it will cause you to have the response and freak out at your friend. That would be an action potential. Whereas if you were hit from 10 feet away, you would notice that the flinging rubber band hits you, but it does not hurt you from that distance, so you decide to ignore him and not respond. This works with both IPSPs and EPSPs respectively. However, the signals are different but act the same in terms of attempting to bother the axon hillock in a sense in order to carry out the desired signal, to fire or not to fire. That is the question. I'm the axon hillock in this scenario. I started at negative 70 millivolts because I was receiving no signals and was just chilling. Then I received a text from one of my friends to hang out and play on his new PS5, and I knew very well that I have an assignment due the same day. My initial attitude changes, and I think that the assignment could be held off for a little while longer until I received a reminder text from my professor about the project, which immediately reinforced my decision to not hang out with my friend and proceed to do my project. I then received another text about the new game he received, which made me want to hold off on the project again. Then after receiving the second text from my professor, it immediately encouraged me to tell my friend that I can't hang and to continue doing my project. My friend in this case is the inhibitory signal, wanting me to not do something, and my professor is the excitatory signal, making sure I'm doing my project. My decision to tell my friend no and to start my project instead is the action potential, because I reached a point where I knew that the project was more important than hanging out with my friend. Hope you guys learned how the axon hillock decides whether or not to fire an action potential.